Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and I just got my paws, or claws I should say, or big potato fingers, whatever you want to call them, on one of the new Explorers Guild sets, or Explorers Society, sorry not Guild, for Malifaux, and that is the On the Hunt set. So these guys are part of the Explorers Society, keyword Apex, and one of the things I noticed, now this was shrink wrap, I just took the shrink wrap off, but the box immediately just fell apart on me. Okay, it's interesting. So check this out. I know I have not gotten to play a game of Malifaux in an official capacity in basically ever against another living opponent that wasn't myself, you know, as I'm teaching myself the game. But I love the figures. I absolutely adore them, and I will find any excuse to use them in any other game possible. And I really dug these guys. They've got a very cool look, and I think that if you're into any kind of other, you know, steampunk type setting, these guys would be a great asset for you. So you get 2 of these Crypsis Corp, and then 3 of the Vatagi Huntsmen. What do they look like? Let's find out. So you have 1 single sprue, or the larger sprues at least, your cards. Your bases, everybody unfortunately is on a 30mm base. I say unfortunately because to me the Crypsis Core guys look massive in the artwork, and well, maybe they will be massive. You know, get my hopes up here. So I'm not sure which is which. This looks like, well, I'm assuming this is the Crypsis guys on top. Yeah. So by Malifaux standards, these pieces are absolutely gigantic. Interesting that we have a custom base topper. I haven't seen any of those in a while, but I guess that's because he's supposed to be standing on top of it. Okay. Interesting. I mean, this is manageable. I think if you are ever scared off by the horror stories people tell of Malifaux parts, this side of the package, pretty reasonable, pretty simple. Then on the other side, things get more to my expectations. Actually, this isn't too bad. I mean, you know, if you've built some of these kinds of kits before, yeah, there's some little parts in there, but it doesn't look like they're anything really too outrageous. Look at the hands a little. It's okay. Little gun. Keep in mind, this is super zoomed in. I'm a little bummed that the dude with the spear doesn't have any kind of guns with him. I'd say, as always, these would make great Shadows of Brimstone type characters. They've just got, you know, very interesting looking paraphernalia and weaponry with them. They're very lavishly dressed with all their gear, their furs. They look cool. So give me a sec. I'm going to put them together. It doesn't look like they're going to be too complicated. And then we'll grab a couple other Malifaux figures while we're at it and see how they all stack up. Shall we? Okay, we got our Crypsis Core and Vatagi Huntsman all put together here. Let's give you guys a look. So, yeah, it's kind of dark in here, unfortunately. Here are the... Which guys are these? I don't even remember. These are the Crypsis Core. Yeah, they got the big guns. I think that's the deal. Alright, so first off, this dude, I'm not sure if he's actually supposed to have his hands on the gun. I could not get his arm all the way over there. And even the render, I couldn't tell if he's actually supposed to be touching it or not. Definitely a bit of cleanup. These guys were pretty easy to put together. I would suggest dry fit everything before actually gluing down. Like most Malifaux models, they are quite puzzle piece-like in how everything finally fits together. Dig the gun. Big gun. Big gun for big jobs. Okay, then we have... This guy's pretty nice looking, I gotta say. Plus with the little scenic base hopper. A lot of detail and character in there. The only thing I don't really care for is the stiffness of the arms. They're just kind of out there at the side, especially the one with the gun. It just kind of seems long and stiff. Otherwise, a pretty nice sculpt. And I'm pretty sure this line actually is supposed to be there. It's just part of the pelt. I could be wrong and I'm just making that up. I don't know for sure. Then we have the Huntsman. Here we go. Quite a portly fellow here. Does have a gun. That'll do. I'm not a big fan of the spear. I almost considered cutting it off and sticking a gun in his hand, but then I thought, yeah, at least for the time being, let's keep things as they're supposed to be. We have the lone female member. Again, the pose, I'm not sure what's going on there with the arm. It's just kind of jutting out to the side. There's no real sense of action or movement. It doesn't make sense to me. Otherwise, I mean, everything looks okay. Kind of reminds me of, who were they? The gunsman dude. Were they the Latigo Pistoleros or something? There was one that had a really weird pose like this, too. And then finally we have my favorite of the bunch. Again, quite a portly fellow, not bothering to wear a shirt. He's got the skulls, he's got a big gun, very elaborate looking gun. Pelts all over. Two halves of the lion's head there. Armor, shoulder pads. They got the works going on. I mean, so there's a lot of character here within these sculpts. Initially, they really reminded me of like the monster hunters from Malifaux. Just lots of cool gear. And they look realistic enough that you could probably get away with using them in some kind of more realistic setting, but they look improbable enough that with a little bit of ingenuity, I'm sure you could end up with, you know, some of these dudes look like they'd be perfect for like an inquisitorial warband or something. If you just wanted to cut off a couple weapons, slap some Inquisition icons on them, I mean, I think they'd be great for sci-fi just as easily as they would fit in for any kind of like semi-historical or horror-themed game would be my first choice, but that's usually my first choice with anything Malifaux related. And if we're going to go down that road, then my obvious thought, as I said before, was put him in Shadows of Brimstone. And grabbing our recent looking Texan guy here, got painted up. You can see size-wise they fit in great. So I think if you ever want to plumb the depths of a model line for figures for other games, I really don't think if you're going to play Shadows of Brimstone, you can really go wrong with anything from Malifaux. The proportions may be a little bit more lankier, like we see on this female huntswoman, I guess, for lack of better words. But honestly, the designs are really compelling and really neat. I just feel that they're kind of held back by awkward poses. Our dude in the back, I really like him. I don't know, like I said, what he's doing with his hands, what she's doing with her hands. He's just kind of sticking his spear out in front of him in a weird position. There's just strangeness, and not in a good weird sense. I'm not sure what they were thinking. So I mean, it is what it is, but it's a shame because it's like it's a good model held back by just a little bit of extra tinkering that I think could have pushed them up into the great category. So they're not bad models on their own. I just feel that they could have used a little bit more, I don't know, Q&A when it came to getting the poses down. They just feel kind of awkward. So if you don't mind a little bit of awkwardness on your table, I would say by all means, do take a look at these guys. Like I said, they fit in great with Shadows of Brimstone. Grabbing an actual Marine here. You can see size-wise, I mean, they're not going to be as tall as a Primaris Marine for the most part, but I think even with modern GW sizing, they'd work great with some kind of Inquisitor or the likes thereof. So something to keep in mind. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and as always, we will see you back here soon. I was going to wait for it to fall over, but I guess not. Bye-bye.